Hey there, welcome back to the channel. We won't waste much time getting to it, but I do want to say thank you to everybody who showed up for the live yesterday. That was unreal and so cool to be able to interact with you guys in real time. Our little corner is something special. So thank you for making it that way. And I just have to say, entertainment purposes only, la la la. You know the drill. We're going to go ahead and get to it. And now,
Hey guys, check out this amazing footage of a alien type of creature spotted on a Ring doorbell camera home security system in El Paso, Texas. Recorded by a woman sitting on her couch at 3:30 in the morning. Noticed something on her phone from a notification telling her that there was some type of movement or activity outside of her home. Now, people all over the internet are saying this is some type of alien creature or of an unknown species. No one seems to know what this creature is. It's going viral all over the internet, all over TikTok. People are sharing this video and reposting it. Others are saying the eyes and face resembles Taylor Greene, a political...
oh, yada, yada. Okay. We're not going to get into all that. But this looks real. I'm going to go ahead and say that this looks real. Is it? I don't know. But I think it looks it. You can even see the eyes. They're not stationary. You know, they're not static eyes that just stay open to one level where you see things like this. They kind of look like they move around. And the mouth obviously moves. There's clearly something like it's closed, it's open. I think this is either you know what we know it is, or a very close up of a praying mantis. What do you think? I like this. I've just felt like this is the perfect one to start with today. Prove to me this isn't real, please. Have you ever heard of Bill Cooper? He wrote Behold the Pale Horse. And if you're not familiar with that book, it's like one of those cornerstone books of stuff that we're interested in here. I have not read it, but I do know that it's available at Barnes& and Noble because I've seen it and looked at it. But let's hear more of him.
The title of your book, Behold a Pale Horse, what significance does that have? What are you saying with this title?
This title is from the book of Revelations, because I have to tell you this, and you may think I'm nuts if you want to, but this is the truth. Either these men are following the book of Revelation, the book of Revelation as it is in the Bible. Mm-hmm. They're either following it, just like a plan, and bringing the prophecies in there to pass to manipulate and control those who believe in those prophecies and neutralize them, so to speak. In other words, if this is written in the Bible and God has ordained it, who am I to resist? It must come to pass, so I'm not going to try to stop it.
Okay.
What a perfect way to neutralize the opposition right off the bat. Or there really is a God, and what he said was going to come to pass is coming to pass. AIDS is an invention of man. It is not a natural disease, and it has been implemented and placed into the population as a population control. And when they did it, they had the cure before they did it. Mm-hmm. And when they've deemed that enough people have died or been killed, they will say, we have a cure for AIDS. And everybody will be called to report to some place to get an inoculation, which is going to do two things. One, it's going to stop AIDS in its tracks. And number two, it's going to implant a device which will be able to be used to track each individual person and maybe even to control those people. And that's what the pet implant program is all about. It's not about finding lost pets. They don't give a damn about pets, and they would never put a satellite in orbit to find a lost pet, but yet there's a satellite up there that they're using to find pets that have been implanted with these devices. They're testing this program on pets that's going to be used in human beings. And in the Los Angeles Times in 1989, they ran an article. It was 10 forecasts for the coming decade, was the title of the article. I have a copy of it in my research center. And number 5, I believe it was number 5, in those 10 forecasts for the coming decade was chemical or electronic implants to control individual behavior on a 24-hour basis, unquote. So,
Yeah. So that's a little intro to it, but we've got a few more. You're welcome to skip past this because I think I have like 4 videos on this guy. It's pretty interesting. We can skip this one.
we would keep their presence on Earth a secret. They would furnish us with advanced technology and would help us in our technological development. They would not make any treaty with any other Earth nation. They could abduct humans on a limited and periodic basis for the purpose of medical examination and monitoring of our development, with the stipulation that the humans would not be harmed, would be returned to their point of abduction, that the humans would have no memory of the event, and that the alien nation would furnish MJ-12 with a list of all human contacts and abductees on a regularly scheduled basis. And this is not being done. It was agreed that each nation would receive the ambassador of the other for as long as the treaty remained in force. It was further agreed that the alien nation and the United States would exchange 16 personnel each to the other with the purpose of learning each of the other. The alien guests would remain on Earth, and the human guests would travel to the alien point of origin for a specified period of time, then return, at which point a reverse exchange would be made. I have no knowledge whatsoever of what happened to those original 16 humans who left the Earth with the aliens. It was also agreed that bases would be constructed underground for the use of the alien nation, and that 2 bases would be constructed for the joint use of the alien nation and the United States government. The base at Dulce is one. The base at S4 in the area known as Area 51 or Dreamland is the second. Exchange of technology would take place in the jointly occupied bases. These alien bases would be constructed under Indian reservations in the 4 corners of Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, and one would be constructed in Nevada in the area known as S4, located approximately 7 miles south of the western border of Area 51, otherwise known as Dreamland. All alien areas are under complete control of the Naval Department, and all personnel who work in these complexes receive their checks from the Navy. Construction of the bases began immediately, but progress was slow until large amounts of money were made available in 1957, and in the meantime work continued on the Yellow Book with the information derived from the guests. I would like to say at this time that the movie that most of you may have seen, how many of you saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind? That movie was absolutely true. Those events did take place. Not exactly as you saw them, not in the place where you saw them take place. But there was a landing, there was an agreement, there was conversation, there was an exchange of personnel made. I would like to say now also that J. Allen Hynek was the technical director on that movie, and he was also the co-author of Grudge 13, which I read between the years 1970 and 1973, along with another man named Lieutenant Colonel Friend.
Yeah. So, see what I mean? This guy's got a lot of interesting stuff. That's why I have more. There's one where he talks about, or he discusses, rather, um, that he used to not believe in aliens and UFOs until his own experience. I'd like to make sure I play that one.
So where do you feel the hope for America lies?
Oh, this is William Cooper, a man who received mainstream attention in 1994 when Rush Limbaugh read an alleged White House memo on the air calling him the most dangerous radio host in America. Maybe that's because his conspiracy classic is the underground bestseller, or perhaps it's because of the increasing popularity of his shortwave radio broadcast, which is also available on the internet.
Good evening. You're listening to the Hour of the Time. I'm still William Cooper.
This was not an easy interview to net. He was the first person I asked, and after 8,000 miles and 6.5 weeks on the road, just about the last to agree. I guess he wanted to make sure I was serious. Nevertheless, I had to come alone, and I was required to follow clear rules of conduct.
Those clear rules, if you couldn't read that, says,
Nevertheless, I had to
come alone, 10 minutes max, absolutely nothing edited out.
come alone, and I was required to follow clear rules of conduct.
Well, at this point, I've done so much research on this. I have to tell you, there's only one way this is going. There's going to be a civil war in this country. And I hope the outcome of the war will be the reinstatement of constitutional Republican government. But whenever you have a war like that, you're going to have competing factions to be the winner. And whoever really has the power in the end is going to institute whatever kind of government they feel should be there. There are people in this country who believe that a religious theology or theocracy should prevail. Well, if that happened, we'd have burnings at the stake again, and inquisitions, and heretics, and all of these kinds of things. So that can't be allowed to happen. Can't be. Doesn't matter what my religion is. It can't be allowed to happen. There are people who want a socialist government, much like the one in Sweden. There are people who want to create in the United States what the Soviet Union had hoped to be. There are real Nazis, all of them socialists. Hitler was a socialist. So I see the future as being tremendously dangerous for all of us. Me and many others like me are going to perform a valiant attempt to reinstate, restore legitimate, lawful, constitutional Republican government. Whether or not we're going to be successful, I can't tell you. But I will tell you that once this war starts, it's going to be terrible, it's going to be bloody, and it'll last for 10 or 15 years. That's the nature of this kind of conflict. If you look around at all these mountains around here, there's enough guns, ammunition, supplies, clothing, and food buried in these mountains to support an army for 15 years.
I just thought this was kind of an interesting clip just to hear what was being said by people who were already feeling conspiracy vibes. The people who grew up on X-Files, the people, especially like this guy, somehow he knows, he kind of has an in of this knowledge. So it's really interesting to hear him speak about it so long ago in 1999. And nobody was listening back then. Nobody. I am actually going to play some of this one. I think it's cool. I think it's worth it.
I would like to hear from you is about this ship that you saw that came out of the water.
1966.
You want to talk just a couple minutes about that?
Sure.
And I'd like to hear just what that thing looks like. I'm very interested, personally, my forte is what these things look like, and I'm very interested in their culture and what they have to say to us or not say to us. That's, for some reason, that really interests me.
Well, I think it should be interesting to everyone. If they're real, I think it'd be unbelievably eye-opening.
But this must have been amazing, because I understand the size of this craft was just...
Yeah, it was. It was amazing to me because I didn't believe in UFOs, even though I was reared in an Air Force family and my father was a pilot, and I had heard the pilots talking about UFOs all my life. And when I left home, I went into the Air Force and I met sergeants who told me, after they had quite a few glasses of booze down their gullet, they'd tell me stories about having participated in recoveries of crashed extraterrestrial alien craft, flying saucers. I didn't believe that either, because they were always drunk when they told me these stories, and I was a junior airman in the Strategic Air Command, and I knew that they liked to pull our leg.
Sure.
So when I went in the Navy, I was on a submarine, USS Tyru, SS-416, and we were transiting from the Portland-Seattle area to the Pearl Harbor submarine base on the surface, about 10 knots. I was the port lookout, and it was afternoon. It was a bright day, but it was a little overcast, and the sun was not out. And off the port bow, I was looking right at it, came right up out of the water, a flying saucer, the size of an aircraft carrier, about 2.5 nautical miles away, came up right out of the water with water streaming from the air around it, not from the craft itself, but from the air around it. It went up in the air and just tumbled lazily like this, and then just went right up into the clouds and disappeared. And I was just dumbfounded. Dumbstruck is the word for it. I couldn't
This
speak.
spherical saucer that we tend to think of?
Yeah,
It didn't look like a Klingon warrior ship or something.
no. This was round, like a dinner plate, with a raised portion in the center.
Classic.
It looked like it had vents and windows and things. It was obviously a machine. It was pewter colored. The underneath was concave. I guess it's concave. I get confused between concave and convex.
Yeah.
But anyway, it went up in the center underneath, and then up over the top, and it was huge. And I reported this to the officer of the deck as I had seen something off the port bow, because I didn't want to tell him I'd seen a flying saucer. I didn't want to be the laughing stock of the boat. You know, in a submarine, it's a close crew, and if you're an outcast, that's it. You might as well leave forever. So I told him I'd seen something off the port bow, and it had disappeared. I didn't know what it was, but it was something big. Would he please help me look over that area? He started looking with his glasses, and the starboard lookout heard me tell him this, and he began to look also. And I never expected to see it again in my whole life. But either the same ship or another one just like it came down out of the clouds, tumbled again on its axis, and a hole just opened up right in the ocean, and it just went in.
So the water opened up.
Just opened up, and then the water closed behind it, and there was no splash. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. The officer of the deck turned around to me. His name was Ensign Ball, and he just had the most unbelievable look on his face. And he just looked right at me, and he said, "This had to happen on my watch." And I knew exactly how he felt. He had to tell the captain that we had witnessed a flying saucer, and he didn't want to do that because it meant the end of his career if the captain didn't believe him. So he called the captain to the bridge, called for somebody to bring up a camera. The captain came to the bridge, the chief quartermaster behind him with a 35mm camera. And the five of us stood on the bridge and watched this repeat itself over and over again for about 10 minutes. Chief quartermaster taking photographs all the time. We were told not to discuss it with anyone, not even...
Yeah, so there you have it. Now, you may be wondering, whatever happened to our friend? Sounds pretty calm of a person, not really unhinged. Some people who may not believe what we believe might think he sounds a bit out there. But
An Apache County Sheriff's deputy is in the hospital after being shot in the head by a so-called militia member.
Now, what we know is that militia member is dead. Our Gary Harper has the very latest on what's going on with that story. Gary?
Marty, Scott, this all happened in a little town called Eager, Arizona, which is just on the eastern side of the state of Arizona. It's almost on the border of New Mexico. This is what we know so far. Sheriff's deputies, we understand, were trying to serve some type of arrest warrant on a man by the name of William Cooper. He's also known as Bill Cooper. He reportedly has been known to be hostile toward law enforcement, so sheriff's deputies apparently disguised themselves as a bunch of rowdy teenagers in the back of a pickup truck in hopes of luring Cooper out, and it apparently worked. However, when Cooper realized what was happening, he reportedly pulled a gun and shot a 40-year-old deputy in the head. During the gunfight, Cooper himself was shot and he was killed. Now, this is what we know about Bill Cooper. Officials say he belongs to some kind of militia movement and has published several anti-establishment articles. He has a website, we understand, and on that website he acknowledges that there is an arrest warrant for him, but he writes, and we're quoting here, "Any attempt by any federal government agent or anyone else to execute the unlawful arrest warrants will be met with armed resistance. Any person who attempts to kidnap our children will be shot upon discovery." And that is apparently what happened earlier this morning. Sometime after midnight, Cooper reportedly pulling a gun and shooting a 40-year-old Apache County Sheriff's deputy in the head. That Sheriff's deputy, we understand, has been flown to Phoenix, where he is in a hospital. We are trying to get his condition right now. We do not know exactly what his condition is, and we understand that the militia member, in this case Bill Cooper, was shot to death. We do have a crew en route to Eager, Arizona, and we'll have a lot more coming up on tonight's news.
yep, so that was the end of that. And I really don't want to make this poorly timed joke because it is no joke, but guys, I'm gonna. This is why you have to say entertainment purposes only, because if you don't and it gets taken seriously, they come after you. But I mean, he straight out directly said, if anybody comes here and tries to do anything to me or my family, because I am saying all these things that are very sensitive about a lot of sensitive people, and of course could be considered anti-establishment. Although I don't really get the idea he's anti-establishment any more than any of the rest of us. I more got the impression that he just wants to know the truth, and isn't TikTok, Instagram, YouTube just full of people who just want the truth? That's always been the case. He just spoke too much. But his book is available. I know we spent a lot of time on that, but I really thought it was worth it. Hope you did too. Now explain to me what I'm looking at here. I don't think we really need the sound on this. There's really nothing going on sound-wise, but check that out. Who else is feeling these are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise vibes from this? That's big. Look at that. That is big. I'm not sure what to think about that. It's another one that looks real to me. I don't know if computer manipulation is getting so good that we can no longer discern, or if it's real. What do you think? Oh, you have to see this clip. I don't know if this is true. I tried to find it everywhere, but of course it was removed. But somebody has this. Let's just play it. You gotta see. Okay, so this is the news, right? Blah, blah, blah. Narrative. Look at this. Look at this. I need to be smaller so you can see this. What is this? What am I looking at here? Like, what is that? What? What?
This has to be an alien. And of course he's from the
I don't know. He's wearing a crown. Like, what? Ha- uh, I've seen, and you've seen, and we've all seen the little clips of the eyes that change to reptilian looking eyes. Those clips of like in the blink, it changes, or just different little silly things like that. But this is a full blown. And of course, I can't find it anywhere, and you're certainly not going to. But did anyone else see this or hear of this? I want to hear somebody tell me that was a joke. I kind of want to hear that in this case, because this is crazy. What is? Look at one more time. One more time. For the folks in the back, look at this. What am I looking at? I can't begin. I can't begin to comprehend. Look at- I don't know. I don't know. I can't wait to hear the comments that you guys have, though.
A lot of the elites had their summer homes in Jekyll Island, including the Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, the Morgans.
This reminds me, if I can, talk about the place we got married.
Yeah.
It's like a hidden gem, the place that we got married, the venue called the Sidoni Mansion. It was built at the turn of the century by a dude who was buddies with all of those guys you just mentioned. And he went on a hunting trip. He was hunting on this land that he ultimately ended up purchasing and building the Sidoni Mansion, which was originally a hunting lodge, but then just turned into their Christmas home. What's so strange about it is that they had this huge wealth, and he also had 5 children, which at the turn of the century, they say if you had that kind of money and that many children at the turn of the century, you would have like hundreds of descendants today. But they have 3 living relatives. All the wealth is mysteriously gone. Every single family member, apart from one daughter, died in that house.
And they only went there for Christmas.
They were only there for Christmas.
There's something hidden there. That's scary.
I don't like that.
It makes you think.
Have you ever heard of the Sidoni Mansion? I have not. I think it's clearly cursed, or that one daughter wanted it all for herself, and it's hidden somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. I'd never heard of it. Thought maybe you'd find it interesting as well. Okay. This guy says that he was exiled from a land beyond our ice wall, and that our realm is a prison. Let's see. It's very quick, but the point is just that.
This man says he was exiled from a land beyond the ice wall.
Check this out, y'all. Exiled from a land beyond the ice wall, and our realm is a prison.
Definitely different looking, y'all. Like from a movie. As always, thanks for watching and stay weird.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. What language is he speaking? Sounded kind of like Spanish. Do they speak Spanish beyond the ice wall? Wouldn't you imagine them to have their own language? I'm not sure.
Things humans weren't meant to see. UFO caught at gas station.
Yeah, so check out the sky. Check out the sky above. Right there. It's just hovering around. That's all. And it could have been something that whoever took this video didn't even notice was there in the first place. Because when I first saw this video, I was like, cool, a Coke truck. And then someone in the comments said, did anybody notice the guy on the horse looking sketchy? And I didn't see anybody on a horse. So this whole clip almost completely just didn't become a thing until I watched it again and saw the hovering thing. Come on. Just so we can see it again. I'm not sure. My other thought was that it could be something. I don't know. I don't know. I got nothing. However, I was reminded of another of the artwork, another piece of artwork that our friend James sent in. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. This one. What is happening? What is happening in this clip? I'm sure there's a rational explanation. Okay. There's a helicopter, a lasso. I doubt. I mean, the comments were unhinged and everybody was clearly saying that they had lassoed a UFO. We just can't see it or whatever the thing was. I don't think that that's how this would work, quite frankly. But this is the one I was talking about. It reminds me of a piece of art that our friend James made. Cowboy alien. I'm thinking he knows something we don't. Care to share with the group, friend? This is a clip from, I presume, the inauguration. It's just kind of the odd behavior of these guys. I made it as big as I could so that you could still see all of the things that are happening. But again, we're fighting with the YouTube landscape view versus the TikTok portrait view. So the best I can do. So everyone, of course, is saying he handed her something, Michelle Obama specifically, something mysterious. My guess is either it is something very mysterious or it's a little note that says, "Do you guys want to get coffee after this?" Creeps are people too, guys.
This photo was taken by hikers in Bolivia. Initially, it just looks like an attractive shot of the surrounding area, but something odd can be spotted on the other side of the lake. Zooming in closer, there appears to be a semi-transparent creature walking along the edge of the water. We can see that the creature resembles the gray alien, with elongated arms and legs, a rounded head, with large bulbous eyes. The creature seems to be semi-transparent and doesn't have a reflection, so is this some kind of interdimensional creature, or just an elaborate hoax?
The first one. If you're going to ask me, I think it's the first one. Okay. So we had quite a bit of supernatural stuff in this one. The next one is more of a crime thing. It's really quick, but it's just meant to show you that there's a reason we say keep your head on a swivel. Just you can't be ambivalent about the things going on around you. You have to, and it doesn't mean that you have to walk around paranoid. I've said that before. Don't walk around thinking everybody has it out for you. But you do have to look out for yourself and your family because not everyone can be trusted, even in plain sight, in the middle of a Walmart. Yep, I will play that again because I was. Mm. That little old man going to take him down. My gosh. You, it just, I mean, we have no backstory here. Where I got it from, the comments ranged from, oh, there was a personal vendetta there to just some unhinged crazy, but it did seem like he went right for that guy and he really didn't seem to try to run. He probably could have outrun that guy, but the good news is it did look as though the person on the floor was moving. If you want to say that. I mean, at least there's that. And I'm not sure if you knew this, but today is Squirrel Appreciation Day. That's right. I saw a little squirrel at the bottom of my computer, and so I hovered over it, and it said Squirrel Appreciation Day. So I've got a little squirrel video for you because we appreciate squirrels here. How sweet when he grabbed his little paws. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. This kind of, so this happened with a chipmunk, not a squirrel, but I thought it was a squirrel at first. I had a pool outside and I walked by and I kind of just looked in and I thought I saw a frog, but I couldn't really tell. The pool was it was just like a little tiny pool that I hadn't used, but it rained, so it had some, it's not really even like a pool. It doesn't matter. It's this thing that had some water in the bottom of it and it's black. And I kind of saw this little frog, like I said I thought, but then upon looking at it further, I saw whiskers. So just above the water was a tiny little nose and whiskers. So holy goodness, So immediately got him out of there and he was out. He just kind of was on the grass. His breathing was like heavy, but then not at all, it seemed, and he just passed out. He probably had been struggling there, treading that or whatever for so long, and he was going to die. I am certain that he was going to die. You could see his whole midsection was super expanded. I'm sure he took water in. So I remembered that with puppies, because they're so small, to give CPR to a dog, especially a small one, can be difficult because you don't want to break them. And this was, I mean, this was a very small little squirrel, even smaller than a squirrel. So I picked him up and he was on his side. And I just did, because with puppies, you have to do it from the side. So I did tiny little compressions. And of course, I didn't, put my mouth on his mouth and all of that. But I just kind of kept doing little compressions and then breathing towards his nose. And whenever I did that, he would kind of like come back awake a little bit and then water came out and it was the craziest thing. And I just kind of held him in a little warm washcloth until he came to, tried to dry him off a little till he came around a little, and then I gave him a little Ritz cracker and he ran away, and then he came back just to kind of like sit there for just a couple minutes. We just sat there and then he ran off. And that's my story. But yeah, the little forest creatures of the world are very precious and they're very resilient, but sometimes they need our help, especially when we get in the way with our property. And here's one to make you laugh.
Car door into their back.
Oh, let's start from the
I
beginning.
want you to tell TikTok what you just did. I opened the door for a delivery person. And what did you do? You ran out, you jumped in their open car door into their back seat where their child was strapped into a car seat. I know. And then you took a chicken nugget from her.
The cat took a chicken nugget. How cute is that? Funny. You can't even be mad. Can you even really be mad if you're delivering something and the cat runs out and runs into the back? Honestly, I'd probably be like, I think your cat's hungry. That is all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know I feel weird not interacting with you when I make these now, even though we only did it that once. I loved it so much more than I thought. So thank you guys for that experience. And thank you for being here today. And I will see you tomorrow. I hope you have a beautiful night. I hope everything is going great and things are looking up. Remember, stay positive and stay future focused. Have goals. Think about the people that you have that love you and that you love and be there for them, and just let go of all the rest of the crap that's holding you down. That's my advice for today. Everyone, I love you very much. I love my family, my grandmom. Sweet dreams to you all. Good night.